Coming to you from the historic Hart Building in Marysville, California, in Studio 93, In the Tank with Fish, with your host, Bob Fischetti.
All right, we're back, and our guest today, this is going to be interesting because this is a local school, and we had a conversation with them prior to coming in the studio, and not too many people know. So this is like a secret school. Your children have to have a very high clearance to go here. It's Conquerors Christian School. It's out on North Beale Road. And we're going to get a chance to talk a little bit about, I always ask people, what do you do that's different? But at the same time, how long have you been there? We're going to find out a little bit about Frank South. He's not going to go south. That's his name, actually. Frank South, he's the advancement director?
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to advance. Can you direct that? It's like, come on, who doesn't want to advance, right? And then Rachel Moberly, who is the admin assistant.
Yes, sir.
Nothing works if you don't have an admin assistant.
I know. That's
nothing.
Accurate.
You know, nothing
Absolutely.
works.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Without you, the wheels stop turning. You know
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
I don't want your head to get bigger. We have to get a wheelbarrow to get you out of here. But
No, it does make vacations difficult, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So anyway, Frank and Rachel, I just let's get to know a little bit about you. Frank, where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
So I was born in Santa Rosa. I was a military brat. We moved every 2 years as a child. And in 1981, we landed here.
So you were Air Force?
I was Air Force, yeah.
So,
so my dad was stationed out at Beale and went to Wheatland High. And I told my parents that I wanted to finish high school here in one place. And yeah. And they had basically told me my junior year, they came to me like, we're moving. And I'm like, where are we moving to? They go, Francis E. Warren in Wyoming. And I said, I told you that I'm willing to go anywhere except there. Oh. And so 3 months later, they left and I stayed. And I've had quite the experience here. I've been actually at Bible Baptist Church since 1981. I graduated from Wheatland High in 1985.
Wow.
So I've been in the local area forever. And I know pretty much everybody.
Wow. You're real local.
That's a serious local.
Yes.
Yeah, I might as well have been born and bred here. So a lot of connections, a lot of family and friends, and yeah.
That's really good. I was in the military.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Several times, 3 times to be exact.
Three thank yous then.
My last assignment was with the State Guard. I was executive officer at the 195th out of Beale. And I have been just amazed how many people end up here out of Beale.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we have a huge veterans population.
Oh, yeah.
And that's part of the reason, right, is because of Beale.
Yeah.
But you're the first one I met that was a military brat.
Yeah.
Which I say affectionately.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the term. It's like my son, being a pastor, my son is like, you're a PK.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
kid. Yep.
Don't give me that title. Too late. I can't help it. Right? You got stuck with it, And so, Rachel, are you from here?
I am not. So I am a PK.
Shock. Are you really?
I am.
I know exactly who you are now.
Yes. Got me profiled. So I grew up in Washington State.
Okay.
And then my senior year of high school, my parents announced that they were moving, and I was nice enough to go with them. So we came down here to Marysville, and my dad is the pastor of Bible Baptist Church. So,
Wait a minute.
So my dad is Kerry Brown. You've met him.
Stop it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so folks, I'm just going to tell you this. I've been a pastor for 30 years. I was an evangelist before that. I don't often plug churches. I just don't do that. But let me say this. I've met Kerry, and there is a difference between somebody that runs a church and somebody that shepherds a church.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay. So just thought I'd throw that out there. It's a freebie for anybody that wants it. I don't even know where the church is. I've never been there. I might have to go just to find out if what I said was accurate. So,
And he is so authentic.
he is, and that was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many kids are in the family?
So there are 3 of us. I'm the middle. I'm the only girl. Got boys on both sides of me.
Spoiled brat.
Yes.
The only girl.
Yes. I loved it though.
Definitely.
The princess.
Yes.
Yeah,
I did
exactly.
get princess. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I went away to college after being here for a year, and then I moved back, and I have been part of the school for the last 10 years. So
Wow.
It's been incredible.
So is the school and the church associated, or?
So the school is a ministry of the church.
Okay.
But we didn't want everybody to assume that if you were not part of the church, then you were not welcome at the school, because it is a community outreach. It's something that is available for the
Yeah.
community.
That's
So-
really smart.
Yes, definitely.
It's really smart because, you know, the truth is things like that actually cause division between
Absolutely.
the churches, right? And it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm not Baptist. Well, what are you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saved. Okay, let's go from there.
Yes.
And so for kids, you know, quite honestly, they don't, and you know this, they make the connection to the church because it's where they go, their
Yes.
parents go, whether it's the pastor or not. But the school is a whole different entity.
Yep.
The
Yes.
kids that are going to school are not necessarily going to church together.
Yep.
But they're there for a purpose. So yeah, I like that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
Just keep listening to me. I have great advice for you.
Probably about 50% of our students don't attend church there. They attend church somewhere else locally. So probably 50% do come and 50% attend somewhere else.
Are you familiar with Nuestro School?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 90% of the students that go to Nuestro don't live in that area
Oh, wow.
because it's rural,
Okay.
right? So their kids got interdistrict transfers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it's the same idea. It's like the school's a school. Pick a school. Which school do you want to go to? So,
Right.
Yep.
so I have to ask, why Conquerors? Who came up with that? Because think about it. That is, you know, you
So-
did that, didn't you?
Yes, sir. So we are conquerors because in Romans it talks about how we are more than conquerors through Christ.
Yeah.
And that was how we wanted, that was the emblem and who we wanted our students to be. We want them to know that through Christ, they can conquer anything. And it doesn't matter what the world throws at them, what life throws at them, and there are going to be ups, there are going to be downs. But when you have that background and you're rooted in Him, there is nothing that you cannot do.
Does she sound like a pastor's kid to you?
Yes.
Yes,
Little
she
bit.
does, doesn't she?
Very well spoken though. That's
Completely.
I love that.
I love it.
What grades are your schools go through? Middle school through high school?
We go all the way. So
wow.
our school itself is TK through 12.
Okay.
And then we do have the preschool as well that's fully licensed and on campus. And they start at 2 years old
Oh wow.
to 4. So, or technically, I guess, to 5. But yes.
I'm going to ask what all parents would ask when they hit preschool. They got to be potty trained.
So actually, they just added a new room this year, and it helps with potty training, and they help potty
Because
train them.
parents want to know. We had Mother Goose
Yeah.
preschool for years, and it's very difficult because especially a lot of times now you got 2 working parents.
Yes.
It becomes more difficult. I hate to say this, gentlemen, but we're a little harder to potty train than women.
Yeah.
Girls, not women.
Yes.
Women usually are potty trained.
young
Yeah.
women.
Yes.
Young women.
Boys are more difficult than girls, but especially like you said, when you have 2 working
Yeah, it's
parents,
really
when
hard
do
to
you
try
have
and-
the time? I mean, I hit that last year with my 2-year-old. I mean, I had to try to plan potty training around Christmas break and summer break and spring break and whatever time it was going to work. And it's very difficult, but that's the culture we live in now. So adding that second room, they're helping potty train them. They do the diapering, and everybody has been fingerprinted and background checked by DOJ. and
Yeah, you got to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have the youngest that can go is 2.
Yes, sir.
So you're not doing like a preschool where you have infant care.
No, sir.
You don't have good, perfect, okay. So then 2 until they graduate, and so I do have to ask because I know when we did ACE, I know you said a different system, but they're actually able to go farther than their chronological age and grade. Is that possible?
So with BJU Press, already the curriculum that we use is fairly advanced. So the students are testing 2 years ahead of
Good, okay.
on a national level. So with that, very rarely would we probably push, mostly because of the social aspect. There are a lot of times, especially in lower elementary, where children are coming into TK or kindergarten and they're already fully reading,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Huge.
But
Yeah.
if we push them academically, then we end up pushing them socially. And oftentimes it ends up creating an emotional imbalance as they get a little bit older. And it makes it difficult with their peers because they are not on the same level. And the same thing if they come in, to first grade and they're not reading, all of our first graders are. So with that, again, I don't want to drop them back to kindergarten and hurt them socially. We're going to do what we can to get them up to speed as quickly as possible and help them stay where they should be so that they are with their peers.
Do you see why she's the administrator?
Because she knows all of it inside
Yeah,
and out.
yeah. I'm sitting there thinking, I put my grandkids in there if they didn't live in
Yes.
Sacramento.
What's a 40-minute drive? Okay.
She also does sales. She's marketing. She's
Yeah.
everything.
No.
So how did you get involved in this? Because you said you've been going to the church, but it's one thing to go to a church, and Frank, I called you Joe. I don't know why I was thinking Joe. But I know it's one thing to go to a church, and having been a pastor, not everybody gets involved, and
Yes.
and then sometimes when we think of ministry, the truth is in any church there's only so many ministerial positions. But I know when we had a school, it was a game changer, right? So when I came up here and became a pastor, they already had a school. Now they only had a preschool, and we advanced it and did the private school. But there is something to be said for recognizing why that's needed. And it goes beyond just what we would call simple education, right? In other
Yeah.
words, reading, writing, arithmetic. It goes with, like what you said. It's like, I want them to know more. So since you had already been there, what moved you to say, well, I want to get involved?
Well, so it's kind of there's been an evolution. It kind of in my life in this whole situation. So 2016, I was managing an AutoZone, and I had a medical issue.
Who doesn't love AutoZone?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that. I'm a hot rod guy. AutoZone.
I was managing AutoZone. I got put on disability, and so I called pastor, and I was like, I said, I've got 3 months off. I said, I am not a homebody, so from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I'm your volunteer. What do you need? And I walked in there, and he goes, I was just praying this morning that God would send me a man that could help me. And so for 6 months, so they put me on a second disability. For 6 months, I did that. I volunteered for 6 months. I get to the end of the 6 months, and it's the day I'm supposed to go back to work at AutoZone. He calls me into his office. He says, he says, I love having you around here. And he pushes me a packet, and he says, I know this isn't what you're making. He says, but I would really appreciate it if you consider coming on staff. And so he says, will that work? I says, it doesn't matter. It'll work. And from that point, so that was 10 years ago. That was 2016. And then 2 years ago, he came to me. He's like, hey, you've been on the church side for all these years. He goes, I need some help on the school side. He goes, are you willing to come on the school side? And so last year, I was his administrative assistant, and she was teaching the high school class. And I went to her, and I was like, quite honestly, this is more your forte than it is mine. I said, she is, this lady here, she knows the school. She knows the hearts of the kids. She is very structured, very organized. And we sat down and we're like, okay, I would like to get back to advancing the community because I do know most everybody in the community. So advancing the skill in the community
smart, yeah.
and getting her on the administrative side. So she runs the administration of everything, the handbooks, all the other good stuff. And I just basically try to get out there and publicize who we are and what we're doing and what makes us different.
She can't go out there. Nobody believes a 12-year-old.
She does look young.
I do have a very young face.
You hear it. You hear it all the time.
I do.
She's sitting there. She's saying, and I have kids. I'm sitting over here going, do I say anything? Because I don't believe her.
I am in my
She's
mid-30s.
supposed to be a Christian. She's supposed to be telling the truth.
Yeah.
I can't even believe she's married. What kind of parents lets a 12-year-old get married? That's in Arkansas. Like, it's like... Anyway, I got that out of my system.
Yes,
but,
I know. I have a young face.
the minute you start talking, you hear two things. You do hear your intellect. You're not dumb. You know what you're doing. But the other thing that you hear is your passion, not just compassion, right? I'm sure you love the kids, but the passion to move things. And administratively, sometimes we just think, I want them to have administrative abilities, right? But it goes beyond that.
Yep.
If you don't get the vision, and you guys know that in church, it's like without a vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
If you have a vision, write the vision, make it plain so that they that run can run, and all those elements are in there. And so, even though I made fun of the fact that you look 12, right? You definitely have those things going on.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was an accident that you being able to step into that at the time that you did. And I can say that as having been a pastor, having the right person fill a role is huge, huge.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
wow.
So how long were you teaching before you moved into this?
So I've actually done both off and on. So
Okay.
I have, the beginning of this, when we started the school, I was teaching and doing the administrative work.
Oh.
So long days. So I did that for, oh, good heavens, probably the first 5-6 years of the school. I did both. And then just as I had babies and home life changed and things like that.
Wait. Babies?
I have 3. I have a second grader. I have a 7-year-old.
We can leave. Let
2.
these two talk. They got a lot to relate to them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yep. So as that has shifted, depending on if I had a very little one at home, I would come part-time. I would help on the administrative side so nothing was getting dropped. But that being said, my heart is of a teacher. I love to be in the
that's good.
classroom.
Yeah.
That makes my day every day to walk in there with those kids. I love it. So when I am able to, I like to sneak into a classroom for a year or two, get back in there, scratch that itch. But that being said, that is not his forte. His definitely is the advancement side. So it was going to work better for me to be back on admin this year. And that's fine. It's a need. I will fill it.
Well, you're good at it,
Thank you.
obviously.
Definitely.
Did you always want to be a teacher, or did this just
did.
kind of come organically with the development of the school?
No, I've always wanted to be a teacher. I loved school growing up. I know I'm a nerd. But I got to go learn
I didn't say
things
that.
every day and hang out with my friends. I mean, it was a win-win for me. We lived very far away. We lived at the base of Mount Rainier. So there were no neighbor kids to play with. I didn't see people unless I was going to be at the school or at church. So for me, it was basically a play day every day was with my friends at school. And as I grew up, there were a couple teachers that just made such a difference when they made history come alive. It made such a difference for me when it wasn't memorizing dates and events anymore. It wasn't about the years. It was about who they were and what their dreams were and what they accomplished and the struggles that they personally were dealing with during these times. And it made such an impact on me. I thought learning doesn't have to be boring, even if you
No,
don't like the
not at all.
subject. It can be
Yeah.
so
Right.
exciting. So then that became a personal challenge. I wanted to be that teacher.
Yeah. Amen.
So that is what my degree is in education.
Okay.
So it's definitely what I love.
That's so great when you already know that you want to do something, and then your family and the life circumstances all create this opportunity where you're doing what you love and
Yeah.
a part of what your family is doing and what the community needs. Because I feel like there is that sometimes where there's your family's business or what
Yes.
you need to do to support your family or shoes that you feel obligated to step into, but it might not align with what you feel called to do or
Yes.
your gifts even.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome that it's all come together for you. And you can tell that you're in your environment because you can see, like you said, like the passion and you're,
It's her zone. It's
Yeah.
definitely her zone.
I do love it. I love the school. I love being with the kids and making every day exciting and looking for those little teachable moments that have nothing to do with the curriculum. They just come up organically, and we have so much fun with it.
We had a teacher at Mother Goose Preschool that that she was a mom and a good mom. She got it. And we threw her in the first grade. I mean, I'm amazed we're still friends.
Yeah.
But we threw her in the first grade, and she got it. She loved kids. She got it. And then my son was the administrator of the school, and he moved. And so we threw her into that position. And she absolutely just flourished. But the real key to it was you couldn't keep her out of the classrooms.
Yeah.
So that teacher side, right? And so that's Stacy, who you guys met.
Yes.
Okay.
So she ran Mother Goose Preschool.
Okay.
And then ran Basics Beyond Private Ed.
Okay.
She's really brilliant. So her
Yeah.
administrative skills are there. But she loves the classroom. So when you were talking about that made me think that's how Stace was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's about the kids, and I'm
Yes.
really, it's really perfect that you get both. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that you could see that, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy for you to support that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like when you can see that, it's like, oh, this is a win-win-win.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have the utmost respect for her. She is a one of a kind leader, whether it's in the classroom or whether it's throughout the school. She really has the goods. And I told her this morning, I said, I want you to know I respect you. And when I came to her and said, hey, this is more your bag than my bag, it was because I've seen, these tangible, just characteristics in her that she just exudes every single day of the week. And you can't.
Well, at least you didn't
You
tell
can't
her I'm
coach
going to
that.
bail on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you in, then I'm going to leave because
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm out there doing outreach. So,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's important that people know the people, right? So Conqueror's Christian School, right, is a name. And I appreciate you saying, but see, to some people, they haven't even heard the name.
Right.
So having you guys in, that's why I wanted people to, for me, it's always, look, these are the people that are doing this, and this is why they're doing it. And I just think that's critical, that people understand, look, anybody can start a school.
Yeah.
You're getting that private school license, you sign once a year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like blah, blah, blah. But to really have a school, run a school, and see it do what it needs to do, you need not just the teaching quality, but the administrative one and everything else that goes in it, right? And so for you to be able to I thank God you came back from Washington.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had a great time there, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like I had met Kerry, I don't even remember him telling me they had a school out there. I don't remember.
Yeah.
He was on because you guys were doing a Christmas play or something,
Okay.
some Christmas thing at drive-through or something. I don't remember. It's some
very
kind
nice.
of thing anyway. but it was like, so when I heard that you guys were coming in, I was like, there's another school, and that's why Stacy said, does anybody even know you guys exist? So we're hoping they will after
Oh,
this.
yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So I do have to ask concerning that, do you have openings in every grade?
We do have open enrollment right now. We are continuing enrollment. But that being said, our focus is small classroom sizes. So I am not going to overpack a class so that we lose that individual touch. That is an issue in the public school system. They are so overcrowded, and it's so hard for the teachers to be able to personally interact with 38 kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just impossible for one person. So with that, our small classroom sizes and that small, low teacher to student ratio is incredibly important to us. But we are still enrolling, and there are several classes that have more space. There's a couple that are very close to capping out.
Yeah.
But yes, we are still enrolling right now.
Yeah, I get it. My son's a high school teacher, and my daughter-in-law is a principal.
Okay.
She's on the Marysville side. She's at Cordova.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
And Browns Valley. She
Yes.
does
Yeah.
the two of them. And an ideal classroom size for them is one.
No.
And I've talked to so many teachers. They're like, if I could just have one, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
not feasible. And really not practical.
No.
But I do agree with you. The small size is important. I teach classes for discipleship for churches, and I will not take more than 15 or 16 in a class because you can't build relationship
Right.
and get the principles across that Paul taught Timothy. All that it has to be a smaller group, knees on the ground, nose in the book. Right?
Yeah.
This is how it works. And when you go to church, sometimes it's very difficult because there's so many people in there. And it says when you come together, everybody's got something.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a classroom of 38 kids? Everybody's got something. We're going to hear from all 38 this morning. Now transfer that to a church of even 100 people.
Yeah.
Right.
It will not work.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I respect when teachers say, I'd like a smaller class.
Absolutely.
That way, when a child does need attention, it's there.
Yeah.
Right? And she's not overloaded. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I
It's so
appreciate that. Too bad I don't have little kids.
I do.
You have little kids.
Mine aren't as little as yours, but we homeschool, which is what we were talking about. But we've had an interesting. Like I went to private Christian school through 5th grade, then switched to public school, so I kind of experienced both. And now our kids have just always homeschooled from the beginning. But I love to hear what's happening. And there's, I think you can ask any homeschool parent. We've all hit those days where we're like, "Where's the local school? It's time to send you."
Yes, need a moment.
Get in the van.
Or it's a good threat too. Do you want to be outside like the other kids at 6:30 in the morning? I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Let's get it together.
Waiting for a bus.
Waiting
Yeah.
for the bus.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I was heading to school this morning at 6:15, and there was a young man walking up there. And I was like, "What the heck is he doing at this time in the morning, walking up to a bus?"
It's early.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
early.
that's just insane.
Yeah, we
You
see
know?
the kids on, our street, and they're out there. And then in the wintertime, they always look so cold, and it's dark still. And,
Yeah.
Yes.
I was telling my
They'll
boys.
get over it. I had to get up and walk through the snow backwards,
Oh,
uphill both ways.
ways,
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
sure.
Right here in Marysville, California.
Right.
Yeah.
We hill country here with
Yeah.
all, this, all the snow.
All the snow.
So your mention of the fact that you went to Christian school and then you went to public afterwards,
Yeah.
that's a story in itself because we do see that.
Really.
But I'll be honest with you, what we usually see is not well because in most situations people think, okay, my kid's got it now. They've taught him structure. They've taught him foundational principles. They've taught him critical thinking. But they get into the public school and it's kind of like throwing them into the lion's den.
It is. Yes.
And maybe you could speak a little bit of your experience there.
Yeah, it was very intimidating and very eye-opening to experience things I had definitely never experienced before and see things and hear about things. It was a lot, and definitely academic rigor was much different. That was because we were very similar, farther ahead than the public school equivalent of that grade. So it was trying to adjust to expectation was very different. Trying to adjust to those large classroom sizes, because I don't think my classes were larger than maybe 20, 25. And this was much bigger. And, then you see different kids in the next class because you're changing classes. And I was like, wait, I just started to make a friend and now I don't know them anymore and they're gone. And so the only reason why I switched was because at the time, I know we've talked about this, the school that I went to didn't have hardly any extracurricular, and I was in performing arts and really wanted to do more of that. And so in order to get that, I had to go to a public school. So
Which
that
is
was
those amenities that
Yes.
private schools have a little bit more difficulty having.
yes. Although I will say now, so this was Reading Christian School up in Reading. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
And now they have a lot more, and they have sports and things that didn't exist back then. They didn't even actually have past 8th grade then, because my older sister stayed through 8th, and then she had to go to public high school. Well, I think there was one private high school up there. I don't even think they're there anymore. But so that was the only reason why I switched, was because I really wanted to do extracurricular. And I'd played softball growing up, and all of my friends from softball were all going to be going to this same public middle school, coming from all of the different public elementary schools. And so I wanted to play softball with them and then do performing arts. And so it was like, and my parents knew that. They knew that I needed more and wanted more. And I think it's great to see now, I do see it a lot, as more of the private schools investing more in performing arts and sports, because kids yearn for that.
Yeah.
And they
Absolutely.
see it and they want that. And I mean, I even see that in my own kids, and you probably know this, in California, they can't participate in local school sports. Like, they couldn't go down to our neighborhood middle school and play sports for their team. That's not allowed here. It is in a lot of other states. There's states that pass the Tim Tebow bill where they can participate as homeschoolers in local
So
activities.
crazy to me,
It is.
because we're taxpayers.
That is correct.
So we are paying for education twice, people.
That is correct.
Well,
That is
that's
correct.
the truth is that, and one of the difficulties people say, I'd like to put my child in private school, but public school's free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, nothing's free.
Yeah.
Right, there's a trade-off in that. I told you guys off air that my boys went to an ACE school. Well, then when the school closed, I had to put them in public school. We were in Elk Grove, which had a fantastic school system. So my oldest boy went into 7th grade. And so I get a call from the teacher that he's being disruptive. So I go down to the school and I sit down. I'll never forget her, Mrs. Bro. She was just a really nice gal. And she said, Mr. Fischetti, your son won't stop talking. And I said, he gets that from his mother.
We're all sitting here wondering where that could have come from.
Patty's going to watch this and go.
Right.
But he'd be done. She said, the reason is he is at 9th grade level, and this is 7th grade.
Yeah.
So he is done. He has done everything we're going to do this year and next year. He's already there.
Yeah.
Right. And so I said, well, then put him in 9th grade. And she said, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? We don't do that. And so it was very frustrating for us, with our two boys, because they had gone there, but there wasn't a school there that we could do. And so, and they got through it. They did well. They both, graduated and, went on. But I look back at that and I think that problem is the when I moved here, California was #1 in education. Buddy, I don't even know if they're up in the 20s at this point.
No, we're 43rd.
It's what?
43rd.
Yeah. And so somewhere along the line, how come somebody didn't say, hey, we've dropped to number 10, let's get on it?
Yeah.
So that what they did was they threw money at it. And they thought if we throw enough money, it'll work, and it didn't.
Yeah.
And it just kept going down and going down and going down. And I was on talk radio, and I had a chance to interview the new chancellor at Yuba College. This has been years ago, not the gal that's out there now.
Okay.
And so we're doing the interview, and I said, you're talking about how great everything is. Is there anything that isn't great that you would like to see worked on? He said, I am getting students out of high school with an 8th grade math and reading level.
Yeah.
So we have to tell them, you have to take bonehead English. And then the parents are like, why is my kid in bonehead English? That's not the college's fault.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right? They don't have it to get there.
Yeah.
And so I remember hearing that and going, well, can we do anything about that?
Well, and now they're graduating kids from high school who can't read.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, guys, at what
crazy.
point do we go, no more money?
Yeah.
Until it's like a product,
Yeah.
right? It's bad business. And it's like, and both my kids are in my daughter-in-law, my son are in public education, and they get it. We've had these conversations.
Yeah.
So they're doing everything they can
Absolutely.
to change it. So, and I think that's what it's going to take, people locally to say, look, we got to change. I don't care what, anybody else says. We need to do whatever we can to, up the standards. And so I think people will make a difference. And at some point, I hope they make the difference when they vote.
Yeah.
There's my plug for voting this time.
Yes, please.
Right? Because I want to see what can happen in the private sector with kids graduating. We had kids that graduated from ACE that already had 2 years of college.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Well, we had a 9th grader last year that tested across the board at college level.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, so I've
That
had
was in every subject. And we had 8th graders that were and college level in several subjects.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then I had a situation over the summer. I had a young man come to me, and Grandpa wanted him tested. And he said, I just want to know where he's at. And I bring the young man in. He's a junior. And I'm like, okay, so how's your reading? Because we're going to test him. And he goes, it's okay. He goes, but I plan on being an electrical lineman, so I don't need to learn how to read. And I'm like, what?
Don't work on my line.
I'm like, where did you get that thought from? Mm-hmm. So I have him do a reading test, which usually takes one of our students like 20 minutes. And it took him a little over an hour. Then I had him do a math test, and my wife is waiting for me while I'm doing this test. And 3.5 hours later, he finishes the math test that should have taken 30 minutes. And even with all that, and I talked to, went back and showed literally, second grade in some things as far as reading level, getting ready to graduate from high school. And he's been passed on year after year.
Yep.
And the old saying was, no student left behind, but we're not doing it the right way.
They're just
It
pushing
should be no
everybody.
student left
Right.
behind because they're all getting it.
Right.
But now we're giving them a badge and saying you're okay
Right.
where you're at. And this morning, that grandparent said, how much is your school again per month? Mm-hmm. And I know it's got to be clicking in the back of his head, can you guys do something at this point? He's a senior now.
Wow.
And reading level at second grade level.
It's going to be a lot of work, but yes.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, we see this all the time. One of the first things that we do when somebody wants to come to our school is we do a test. And we check, and she can go more thoroughly through this, but we check where they're at in their English language arts and where they're at in their mathematics. And then we try to build a curriculum around that to help them get to where they need to be, and then to get to a place where they can start advancing. And we really want them to strive for excellence.
Yeah.
We had to do that at Basics and Beyond was our school, because even during COVID, we got kids and they were in there on their computers. And my administrative gal came in, and it was a little girl. She couldn't do her assignment, so she thought, okay, maybe I'll help her. She thought the girl couldn't read. She's in third grade, can't read.
Yeah.
The teacher's on the other end yelling at her.
Yeah.
And so Stacy got a hold of the people and said, hey, you can yell at her all you want. She can't read.
Yeah.
So the teacher kept saying, just read the assignment, just read the assignment.
Yeah.
And it's like, you would think you'd know that. That's one of your students, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
But
you should
that's
know.
the kind of holes that are in the system. So, do I believe the system can be fixed? Yeah, sure I do. But in the meantime, the alternatives are actually better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're right. You say, but we're taxpayers. I have been an advocate for years of I think it was Arizona that said, like I'm 75, and I get to decide where my school tax money goes.
Yeah.
Think about that. So it'd be like, it's not about me having kids. I say, hey, this percentage of my taxes goes to Congress, right? If we did that in California,
Yeah.
the private schools could afford to do the things they need to do. They're already doing the job without it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I'm getting ready to get on a
just
soapbox.
Given a thought, though, you think of investments. How many investments do we make, whether it's in retirement or whether it's in a home, that we don't pull money out of our pocket in order to make that investment grow? But yet we think that our children, that we can send them to some random place where there's not a relationship, where we don't know that person intimately, and expect that they're going to have the best interest
Yeah.
for our particular child when there's 30 or 38 other students in that same class.
Right.
And to me, my granddaughters, my grandsons are my most important investment. My granddaughter was going to a public school. We brought her in one weekend because I saw a lot of attitude issues. She was living 45 minutes away, like your grandkids. She was living 45 minutes away with her dad up in Reading or Red Bluff. And we brought her in, I tested her, and she was second grade level going into third grade, and she was testing kindergarten level. And I went to the parents and I said, hey, we are letting her down, and she is the next generation. She is our future. We sat down, and she actually lives with mom and dad on the weekends, and she lives with grandma and grandpa during the week, and she goes to school, and she is now testing above grade level with just 1 year in.
Yeah, a lot of the kids, we were amazed. They actually were thrilled to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
they
the
love
culture.
it.
You have to create that culture.
Yes, and so they were like excited. You know, it's like,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
and they found themselves succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they were like, man, I'm succeeding.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go because we still got one other guest to bring in.
Okay.
Much as we hate to dump Rachel, but
I'm thinking we should keep Rachel and dump me.
No, you're doing a great job.
don't tempt me. All right, listen, we're going to come right back. We are with Concord Christian School. And what we want to do now is we'll take a little break here. We'll run a spot that says like, subscribe, share, and comment.
Excellent.
Come on, you're proud of me.
Yes, I am. Rolled.
And but we're going to be right back because we're going to talk to a parent who has put her children into the school. We think you're going to like it. So we're back, and wasn't that a great break?
Yes, I enjoyed it.
And now we're going to talk to Nellie Damasio. Did I say that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, because Nellie has her children at the school, and so we've talked a little bit about how the school came to be, and what a great little administrative gal. And then we talked to Frank, but it wasn't the same. But we're hoping you're getting a picture of the school. But now we wanted to talk to one of the parents because it's way different when you're on the inside than it is on the outside. But it's the way they mix. So how you doing, Nellie?
I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. So you and I have had many conversations,
We have.
and I've
yes.
met your kids.
Yes.
You have cool kids.
Yes. Thank
Right.
you.
But that's my opinion.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I think so. So how did you end up? You have 3 boys, 2 boys.
2 boys.
You have 2 boys.
And a nephew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's-
And so how did you end up wanting to put them into school?
So I first met some of the staff at the Peach Festival.
Oh.
They had a little Peach Festival stand there. And so we started talking about school, and I wasn't that interested yet. I wanted to keep the oldest in public school because it worked for me and it was not far from my house. But listening to what the structure was, they wear uniforms, which works for me because we don't have to, think about it much.
Yep.
But then we went into the Christian principles and how they had a structure, and that started to get my attention. So then I set up an interview with the school, and that did it. That really did it. I was able to meet some of the staff. I was able to look at the facility and look at the curriculum. And what got me was the critical thinking because I feel that a lot of times we're missing that
Yep.
in today's world. And so that was what got me in.
It's kind of, it has come to a place where it's like, we're just going to put the information in.
Yes.
It's not about you thinking about it. It's like, remember this and take the test.
Right.
So the whole concept of having that freedom, which really is a freedom, to assimilate the information to your own
Yes.
thinking, right, wasn't there. And so that has to come back across the board. We really need that in our public school system. But it's not
hard.
always there.
Yeah.
And we're just moving forward. We got to pass the test. I had somebody tell me it got so bad at one point that they were just teaching to the test. right? We just want you to pass the test. So we're going to give you this information so you can pass the test.
Yeah.
It's not like I have the knowledge, I know how to use the knowledge. None of those elements were there. And so how old? So you got two boys in
Two
there.
boys in there. Yeah.
And how old are they?
9 and 11.
Yeah.
Yes, 4th and 5th grade. Yeah. So the story that, to me, the story that that changed a lot for me was my son needs a little bit of extra grace at school, and I was nervous about that going in, and I don't think we knew exactly what I was getting into, but the amount of support. So he has an IEP, and there was some reference to it was going to be almost impossible for him to read and do some math, and he's doing everything at 5th grade
Amen.
level. But it
Amen.
has to do with the support.
Yeah.
It's a community coming together to teach one child at a time, right?
Yeah.
And so that made an impact. And I was raised in public school throughout my entire life, and I had no idea what private looked like. And now what I get out of it, I just don't think I'll go back.
Well, being older, there was a time, I went to public school, got a great education. And I look at clear back then, right? And then I look, so education has changed.
Yeah.
We were talking when I came to California, they were number one in education. And what'd you guys say? They're like 43rd now.
43rd, yeah.
Right? And it's like kids in Appalachia getting a better education. But I have great hope. I will tell you
Yes.
why.
Yeah.
Because I've met teachers and administrators,
Yeah.
my family included. And so I want to see change.
We do.
Yes.
But I don't know how long that will take.
Right.
And in the meantime, having an alternative like a Conquerors Christian School and others, it gives parents like yourself an opportunity to say, listen, I'd love to wait for the system to change, and I believe there's good teachers and administrators in the public school system. But my children right now are getting ready to approach those incredibly wonderful teenage years. I don't want to discourage you now.
No, I'm praying about it
We call
already.
them, my wife and I refer to them as the dark days. So which is really not. It's just a part of their adapting, and once you get it. But but what a wonderful thing to be able to step into that and almost immediately recognize the shift.
Yes, right. And that's what happened to me. Now, with my younger boy, I see his testing. They do the state test, which is not California. And he's testing, I think, 2 grades ahead. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's at a 6th grade level.
That's
And you
awesome.
can see it. You can see the reflection of the knowledge and the skills. He plays baseball, and you can see it there. You can see he acknowledges his the older people, the coaches, and he's respectful about it. And I'm not having to struggle as much as other little kids that I see that are struggling.
Yeah.
And so it's not just the higher education, but it's a structure. It's a character building.
And so traditionally, Christian schools, the issue is character and conduct. So beyond the academics, there is that structure that says, hey, like, I didn't realize you guys have uniforms. My boys had uniforms. So isn't that, well, you don't have a new pair of Jordans, right? None of that element is there, which distracts, because kids are kids.
Yeah.
Kids are kids, man. You got something, another kid, and they'll always be looking for ways. But the more that you can cause them to recognize the places where they can connect and how they should treat each other, then it's not a distraction to the academics. So it's an element of it. It's also part of it, And so, yeah, your boys are cool. So he's playing travel ball.
He is. I keep them busy. William, who is My oldest, he is part of the Royal Court this year with Yuba Sutter. So it takes a community to build
Yeah,
this
definitely.
individual, a character. School has a lot to do with it, and they build confidence, and William is out there. And, I think that they're going to do great things, but it took me to have to take that step forward.
Yeah.
As a parent, sometimes, we have all of these expenses, but I always say prioritize
Right.
because I hopefully won't have to spend it on, other things later.
Well, you have a choice. You can put it, into your child or buy that boat you've been eyeballing.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You look like the fisherwoman type. I was just saying.
What has your experience been like adapting to like homework and things like that? Something that I hear a lot. I have friends that teach public school. They have to assign so much homework because of the big class sizes during the day. They just can't get to it all during the day. And so then it ends up being more parental responsibility at night. What is that like, even though there's more rigor? Are you finding that there's a difference with that?
There is. So going in was the most difficult part because the curriculum is completely different, right? All of a sudden we go from memorization and, I'm not trying to be negative here, but classrooms in the public sector are a lot larger than the private. So when you get into the private, they're smaller, and so they're really paying attention to you, right?
Yeah.
And so coming in was hard, having to adjust and get, especially my little William, to the level was challenging. But now that we have a momentum, he doesn't always bring homework home. And the teacher, bless his heart, the teacher is very attentive of the children who need a little more work and the ones that, he can kind of just let go
Right.
a little bit more. William is the one that needs a little bit more attention. David, he started from kinder, so there wasn't much adjustment there. With William, it was. So it is challenging going in, but again, the support and the advancement that he's had, very much worth it. So homework is not an issue because he maybe brings homework once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And if I don't know how to do it, I know I can always go to the teacher and he'll help me through it.
I love that. And I think that that's what gives you some of that quality family time too.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, when kids come home with so much homework, it
important.
really hurts that time because then it's,
We started questioning our kids. Where's your homework?
Yeah.
I don't have any, Dad. We finish it at school, and I go, yeah. Come on, your old man's smarter. Than that. It's like, no, Dad, we really don't. And it's like you gotta. So I had to go with the school and hey, do they have homework?
Yeah.
No, they finished their homework
Yes.
here. They finish the block of study here. So they'd have an occasional thing like
Sure.
a project or whatever. But yeah, that was a shocker to me.
Yeah.
It was like no homework.
That was new to me, that they said family time is important. And I had never heard that coming from school,
Right.
And so when it related to homework. And so that was just like, really, you guys want me to spend time with my son when he gets home?
quality time, not
Yes,
arguing
be-
over homework.
yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Right.
Right.
No dinner.
I don't remember this. How am I supposed to teach you?
Yeah. So I've been so blessed by the school. I'm so glad it's in Yuba County, which I've been, yay for Yuba County. I'm a Yuba County girl. So this is, it has overall been a great experience. And I hope that we can grow from it, and I hope to be able to encourage other parents to consider.
So just real quick, it's out on Beale,
It's on North Beale Road.
North Beale Road.
We're 1 mile past Yuba College. Left-hand side.
Yeah.
You'll see 4 school buses out
Yes,
front
yes.
of the school.
Okay, now I know exactly where it's at. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Been there for 54 years. So
Well,
Been there a minute.
I haven't been by there 54 times.
Okay, we'll have to invite you out. Yep.
Wow. That's awesome. And what do you have happening as far as, I know you are Director of Advancement. From my experience, that's events and outreach. And do you have anything coming up?
So we've got so much coming up. I mean, lots of big things. So probably, I mean, one of the things that we're doing is a lot of little fundraisers for the kids this year and trying to keep them family oriented. And so once a month, we're going out to a restaurant in the local area. So for instance, this Thursday, we're at Chipotle telling everybody it's for Conquerors Christian School. And then they'll actually kick back 25% of the check to the school.
Wow.
That's
So
awesome.
doing things like that. We are also doing a Christmas marketplace on December 6th. And people come in and just get people in the Hollywood, or not, excuse me, the holiday mood, not the Hollywood, the holiday mood. She was just talking about this last night. And then, you know, so we do have a lot of different events. We have a trunk or treat coming up that Conquerors is sponsoring. So we usually have about 40 cars come out and they decorate their trunk with some different theme and just let the community come out and get to know the school and get to know what we're about and how we do community. And then we provide other resources for the community there as well.
And a golf tournament.
Yeah, May 11th of 2026, we're going to have a golf tournament in support of the school. And we're putting together all the details on it. But she just took over last night. She is the chair of our PTO as of last night.
Congratulations.
Yes, I know. One more thing.
Yeah. She doesn't have enough on her plate.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like Led Zeppelin. I've been dazed and confused for so long. It's not. It's like because you get so much going on that you have to compartmentalize it. Like,
Yes.
okay, I'm doing this. I'm here now. Which, generally speaking, women are much better at than men. We don't transition as quickly.
Yep.
Women will be like, you go from one thing to the next. You're like, hey, you left me behind.
But we still get burnt out,
Yes.
True.
right?
True.
We're just
That's-
better at, you know.
That is not gender-based. Burnout
Right?
hits everybody.
Burnout is real. It's real. But congratulations. That's really
Yes.
exciting.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited to be able to get out there in the community and promote Christian education, character building, and critical thinking. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank our guests for coming on. I don't know who got more educated from this, right? But we really hope that there's an opportunity for people to see there is an alternative. They didn't hide the fact that there's a cost to doing it. You may have to make sacrifices to do it. But the end result is that for children, and I am not anti-education by any stretch of the imagination, but there comes this place where you say, is my child performing at the level they should? And if not, then I at least owe finding out where they're at and then, you know, looking for something different, right? Something that works. So Conquerors Christian Schools out on North Beale Road, I would suggest if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I don't know, go find out. Take a little ride out there, talk to somebody, and, you know, I mean, it's just the way it is. I never know from 1 minute to the next, much like you were talking about. My boys went from private school to public school. They had some great public school experiences, but it was a shocker, right? Because there is that much of a difference. So anyway, we want to thank you guys for watching this on behalf of my incredible co-host.
Thank you.
And myself. We'll be looking forward. We've got some great guests coming up. We've already got in the lineup for the show. And take advantage of this. When these come on, if you're seeing something, that's why we wanted to have a parent as well as the administrator. And they're new, I'm going to take care of everything guy.
Advancement director.
You know, right? Whatever. Well, that's what the pastor said. You just give it to him, and he'll take care of it, right? Frank's the guy. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Remember to like, subscribe,
Shared.
share, and comment.
There you go.
I'm going to learn this. I need to go to school. Thanks so much.